Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
Who's that wonderful girl? She is our second guest of the podcast ever.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hand Me Down Podcast. We are your hosts. My name's Natalia.
And Alan.
And today we are joined by a special, amazing guest today, sitting to my right. Damn. Hey guys.
To everybody who's listening through audio, Natalia did the left and the right thing with your fingers.
Hey, you know what? It works in English and it works in Spanish. The derecha, D for
Oh
derecha.
yeah. That's how I memorize.
Oh my God.
Like when you're dining, like your bread is supposed to go on this side and your drink is supposed to go on this side.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm this hand dominant. Like
Your right hand.
My bread. I never learned like dining etiquette like that. Like I heard when you put your fork and your knife a certain way, it means like when you're done.
Oh,
or
yeah,
when
yeah,
I never
yeah.
learned that.
I had to learn it to show in high school. I had to make a video teaching it to like the avid kids because we were trying to like learn like business meeting stuff. Like if you ever have a business dinner, you want to know your etiquette. So I had to make a video.
Oh, I think you have told me about that. But
Yeah. Anyways,
our audience, yeah. Guys, it's a stranger. No, not a stranger. So we are joined today by none other than, you've heard her name multiple times. You've seen her hands when she came in episode 7 and made that amazing spooky basket. And we are joined by our associate producer, Milena Ortega. So everybody give it up.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it not be that loud, and I think I made it louder. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. I feel so honored to be here.
Of course. We're so happy to have you
I'm
on.
excited to have a microphone because I never know how to be quiet when you guys are recording.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and give you like a proper intro-ish when we kind of discuss how we know you and all
The
that
lore.
stuff. Yeah, the
Okay.
lore. Perfect. But I think as always, let's go ahead and start with how are you? Or actually, maybe let's start off with kind of like breaking down the episode. So the breakdown of today's episode is going to be, we're going to get to know Milena a little bit. Go ahead and give her intro. And then from there, we're going to head and talk about our experiences moving away from home. Or I guess your guys' experiences moving away from home. You guys are both from the Bay. You guys came down to LA and what that is. Dealing a little bit with mental health, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about memories that we have visiting our countries because Milena is Venezuelan and Chilean, and we are both Mexican, so a lot of fun stuff to talk about there. And of course, having Milena be from her parents be from South America. We're going to go ahead and talk about the representation difference between Mexican American representation and South American representation in film and TV. So very interesting episode ahead of us. So yeah.
We're super excited to have it with none other than not only our associate producer, but our dear, dear friend.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that too.
I'm pretty sure they like got it when we just started going at it, like when after the intro of the podcast. But yeah, so I mean, before we go into it, we do like to start our episodes with a check-in of how we're doing. So we'll actually start with our guest of honor. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I got off work early again because the Wi-Fi went out again.
Yeah.
I've had days like that too, and I'm just like, okay. Well.
No, because it happened last week already. And like last week, like I waited it out and I was like, oh, no, it's fine. Like we can wait till it comes back. And then it was like 45 minutes. And I spent like those 45 minutes gossiping with one of the social media managers. She's so cool. But then he's like, okay, you can go home, my boss. And then today, like it went out and we're like, what do we do? And then like within 5 minutes, my boss was like, go home. And I was like, really? All right, fine by me.
Those are the best days.
Yeah.
Do you still get paid for like the whole day?
Yeah, but I have to clock out. I clock out when I drive home because I'm not getting paid to drive home. I shouldn't have to. don't want to clock out, but but like I have to work 8 hours in the day, so like I'll work an extra 30 minutes. So instead I didn't clock out at 5:30, I clock out at 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's a gap. But yeah, other than that, my day has been good. Figuring out, I've been having a weird funk with food. I just like, I always feel hungry and I think I eat enough, but I don't know if I have too fast of a metabolism or if I'm not getting enough of a certain nutrient. And it's like, I've been like, I bought so much food at Walmart yesterday because I'm like, I need just snacks and food. And I think I've been trying to like get groceries in a budget friendly way, but then I'm like, I'm not buying enough food and then I'm not feeding myself enough. So then I just splurged.
Yeah. I think cooking big batches
helps. Lots of protein, lots of fiber, I think keeps you full.
Yeah.
I saw on TikTok that one of like the most filling things per like, I don't remember what it was, but I remember an apple being really filling.
An apple.
That's why I got apples.
I
was
love apples.
I love a good apple. What do you guys' apples?
I was about to say, what do you
I know
guys
what apple reveal.
I was a loyal Fuji. Is that
Me
I was a loyal Fuji.
I love Fuji.
And then one time
Same.
I went to Walmart and they were out of Fuji, and the next best thing that like looked the most similar was the Honeycrisp.
I love Honeycrisp.
And then I bought that and I took a bite and I was like, and just like zooming in, and oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
also a Honeycrisp girl. I also used to be a loyal Fuji, so
I like Fuji. I like Pink Ladies are also good. Have you had those?
Ladies. Oh, you'll fuck with Pink Ladies.
The only thing with Honeycrisp, which I also like, is the price. I think the Fuji ones were like 89 cents per pound, and then the Honeycrisp were like $3 a pound, and I was like,
damn. Well, I was just like, I need apples. Like, I fuck with apples.
like I was literally reaching towards the Honeycrisp, and I was like, maybe not.
We'll think smart today.
But yeah, but I hate the red apples.
Yeah,
I don't fucking like red apples.
skin.
Sorry.
And it's kind of like mushy in the inside.
Yeah, I hate
like,
it when an apple is mushy. I don't want to eat it anymore. If it's squishy, I'm like.
In school, they would give those. Like those are the apples they would give, and I'd be like,
or green ones.
Oh my god,
green apples are hit or miss. I think.
I believe that too.
Green apples are good for like baking and stuff.
Yeah,
right? That's what I fucks with Granny Smith.
My
abuela Smith.
But how are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I think tomorrow I'm helping out on a UCLA thesis set, which is super exciting. Even though I had like graduated, I'm gonna be giving like that girl that like goes back to campus and is like, I remember these hallways. And I was literally there like in the summer, like because I graduated in the summer.
The keys jingling.
I like pop into one of my old professor's class and be like,
yeah, you're like, hey, your work is still up there. Oh, you never took my art down. Like, oh,
you have your little iced coffee.
Oh, what are you guys doing today? Oh, light meters? Oh, cool. Yeah. Has he done the exercise with you yet? Okay.
I'm getting so
I'm too good at that.
No, but I think you'll like, you have a lot of knowledge that you can actually pass down to people like, and just like, yeah. I think it's different when it's university and when it's like, a close group knit of people too, I think.
Yeah. So I'm going to I'm gonna be gaffing on set this weekend, and the DP that I'm working with, I really love her work. She's also Latina too, and she had reached out to me. She was just like, hey, like I think we'll make a great team, and I'm super excited. So the concept seems super cool, and hopefully by the next episode, I'll have an experience to talk about.
Yay!
But it definitely feels nice to like be back like on a set, even though it's a student set, but like to be back. Yeah. I'm back, baby.
We're so back.
It was so over, but now we're so back, dude. Anyway, Alan, how are you doing?
Good. I've been doing good. One of the things that has been like really grinding my gears lately is those self-pay machines, or like, I don't know, what are they called? When you go to Target and self-checkout.
Like self-checkout.
There we go. I despise them. I've had the worst experiences with them. Usually when you're only getting like one or two things, fine. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like grocery stores, or like, especially when it's at a grocery store, like I don't want to check this shit out. I don't want to put look for apples. Like,
I hate doing that.
like it's not hard, but I was at Food for Less with my mom, and I was helping her check out the groceries, and we had to have the lady come like 5 times. I was like, this is taking a lot longer than if we just had a cashier.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you're not creating jobs.
Yeah.
Like, you're just losing jobs. And I don't know. It's just, I hate it so much. And last time I was at Walmart too, the person had to come like 4 or 5 times. And I was like, I just feel like I'm bothering you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to check out. I'm not stealing. Like, I swear. And then at Walmart, like, every time like someone has to come and help you, it shows like the camera from overhead.
Oh yeah.
Like, it shows your hands.
Oh yeah, and it like sees you being suspicious.
Yeah,
I
and I'm
hate
just
that.
like, why are you playing it in front
I
of me?
know, it's
You're at
scary.
Walmart.
They're like, see,
Gotcha.
you moved weird.
And I was just like, I'm just bagging. Okay, the thing really is like when it doesn't believe that you put the thing, your item,
on
the scale or whatever. I'm like, but it's right there. What do you want me to do?
Guys, it's on there.
I promise.
Anyways, that's just been really grinding my gears.
At that point, steal. I mean,
The 5-finger just
wait. I didn't mean steal. I just meant run really fast. Hey, fucking we run. Let's leave.
But another one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I don't know if this would be a good conversation to have. I was listening to Bad Bunny's album again. Sorry to bring it up again.
Sorry, guys.
But
brother. I'm just kidding.
I feel like it's not really about the album. But in the first song, he kind of says that he didn't ask to be a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, like, he doesn't like it that people are giving him the responsibility of a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Doja Cat in this past album and just online has said similar things about her being an artist. Like, I never asked for this. I don't want to be a role model. Like, fuck that. I'm just going to be myself. Do you guys think that artists hold a responsibility for being role models? Like, I know they didn't ask for that, but I think in becoming part of the public eye, it's something that you need to consider before wanting to become famous. Or like, where do you guys stand on that? I think it's an interesting thing to think about.
That is a thinker.
Did you see my gears grinding right now? I was like,
And like, as artists yourselves too, like, thinking about, we're not famous, but like, thinking about that little lip bite.
I don't know. Do you have thoughts on that?
And if you guys need time.
I don't know.
I think with us, we make art that's very intentional, and we create things in hopes for positive change. I think with musicians, I think it gets to a point because they're constantly like writing songs and writing like songs are like poems, and I don't know, especially, I mean, I don't know how the music industry is in terms of like when you sign to a label, if they want you to have a specific image, yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. But in terms of just artists like not wanting to be held accountable for their stuff, they're like, well, I'm not here to be a role model, but like I'm a person of a thought, like there's so many things that come with fame. I think that's one of those things where you have this power.
You have eyes on you.
Yes.
You know?
And like people are going to be so easily influenced by you're one of the powers of influence on culture and on people. Yeah. So I think that's a huge responsibility. You should not be like, I didn't want that. Well, I feel like you should have known that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
package deal.
Yeah, like you can't just have the good stuff.
Yeah.
You also have to have that responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do definitely agree with that like, you know, it is, although like it's valid for them to be like, oh, I didn't like want this. It's like, but you have this now. And it's like, you know, like that cheesy, like with great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
And it's like, there we go. Like, you guys know that one quote.
Where's that from?
And it's just like, also because of just so many people idolize celebrities so much.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
And I feel like especially young people, like if you like look at like fangirl, like I would love to do research on like fangirls and like just the psychology behind it, because like I was one and like we were kind of scary, like low key, like thinking about it now, I was like, damn bro, why didn't the celebrities run, dude? Like that's freaking insane. And it's just like, you know, I can't imagine what it's like to be a celebrity where like everybody's all up in your business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you do still have a responsibility to, you know, at least acknowledge that you have a voice. Like that's people are going to be listening to more than like an average person. And like use that for good. Like, or, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm somebody who thinks that if somebody thinks you're a role model, it's kind of like an honor, like to like kind of like be like viewed as somebody that's like could potentially be like a trailblazer or like super important in their lives. And you know, it's as long as you're still able to like humanize them, because celebrities are humans, but like, you know,
it's a balance, which is so hard.
But celebrities still shouldn't be saying stupid shit.
Or like they could say stupid shit, but just be held accountable for that,
exactly,
and like grow from those things. But if you're just being like, well, I didn't ask for this, like, well, and like not taking that accountability, then I'm like, okay,
having
well,
like a stupid response to it.
That's
like,
not.
You know what that kind of gives? That's like if like somebody's telling you like, oh, like I did this, and this, and they're like, well, I didn't ask for you to do that. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, people being so ungrateful. That's what I don't like about like some celebrities, is that they're like, well, I never asked you to like me. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, you made music to share with people. What do you expect? Like, you made art. It's just stupid.
Yeah, well, you guys thought I was gonna just talk about the album or something more Bad Bunny related, but no, that was like a better question, right?
I was like, dude, the comments.
They're gonna come for a
But
again.
That's what I was thinking on the way home from the gym. I was like, or like at the gym, because like that line came up, and I was like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. So you don't agree?
I don't agree with what Bad Bunny said. That
like I didn't want this. Like
like so like don't hold me responsible. I'm like, no, but
it's like, what was the goal in the first place when you
to
started releasing music, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, after that, so I guess we'll talk about how we know Milena.
I know.
Do you have like any stories of how your first impressions?
Oh fuck! I cry.
We play We're Not Really Strangers.
Oh my god,
that's one of the cards.
Yeah.
Well, we know Milena. We went to college together. We did. Milena is also a fellow Bruin. She is a transfer student.
Yeah.
So shout out transfers out there.
Yes, ma'am.
And we met because she joined our org, the Latina Film and Theater Association, and just like was very much let us know from the beginning that she was willing to help and like willing to be somebody that we can trust. And like as like Alan and I were trying to figure out how to run the org too, so we got to work with her a lot in like that like quote unquote professional setting. And then like because of that kind of just formed like a I want to say amistad, but like how do you say that?
Friendship.
Like friendship, but like
camaraderie. I don't know.
A bond,
yeah. Well, but yeah, that's our lore. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, I think just like her being very eager to learn, I think was the thing that stuck out. And you know, just absorbing that information a lot. And I think because she was absorbing a lot of the information, like that trust was able to be built pretty fast, and that excitement I think in that we saw in you too. And yeah, you know, it was great. It was great seeing you grow as an artist, and then just hearing about why you kind of wanted to go into this realm that you had a little bit of experience with, but not a lot, and
professional.
And we were willing to like share our knowledge, which we always are willing to do. And yeah.
Oh, that was so sweet.
So what was your first?
So what did I think of you guys? No, honestly, I remember the day I went to the Enormous Activities Fair and I saw you guys, and like I feel like whenever I join a new environment, everyone looks older than me, and I saw you guys, I'm like, oh my god, these are the big leagues.
We had baby face.
No, I know, and you guys like look different. I mean, don't look completely different, but like obviously you both have grown too since we've met, and like it's been really cool to be part of that evolution. But
it's crazy to think back in those days, like
baby
sweating my
days.
ass off.
Yeah,
I know. I felt really bad.
Yeah, dude, Carly had to go give me a coquita, like, because I was like, oh, she got me a hat too. But anyway,
no, but I remember that day, and I remember it being hot, and then I remember being so nervous to go to the meeting. I was like, I don't know if I should go. I'm gonna go by myself. And then I don't know. The vibes are fun, and I was like, I could get along with these two. And then I slithered my way into your lives. So.
I remember you staying after. I don't remember if it might have been the informational meeting.
You know what? I think I remember like you saying you were from San Jose, and I was like, stop.
I think because I remember one of the first memories that I had where I learned that you were from the Bay was the Shane Company thing. Because like I think I had like. Because like sometimes I like blabber inside jokes, and I just went like Cupertino, San Mateo, and then you just went and Walnut Creek, and I was like,
open weekdays till late, Saturday and Sunday till 5, online at shaneco.com.
See? No. Look at him, he's so left out.
I love inside jokes. I would love to be a part of one someday.
You come back to the Bay, and we'll just listen to the radio all day long.
I love that. I love listening to like other places' radio. It's nice. But I guess with that, you talked a little bit about kind of like our first experience meeting. So I know since you were a transfer, this was probably the first time you had left home. So we just wanted to hear what that experience was like coming from the Bay, and maybe like what your thoughts or what preconceived notions you had about LA, and then getting here and just what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was honestly like really hard for me to move away from home because I'd never moved in my life, and I'm very close with my family, and obviously, you know, you talked about this in the last episode, there's always guilt, and like it's just me. I always feel guilty about everything, and so this was just like it was so hard, and like I had a lot of I still have a lot of anxiety, but I had a lot of anxiety as a kid, and so I noticed also a lot of my trauma responses were coming up when I moved. So I was just kind of like, I feel like I'm 5 again, and I don't want to like sleep in my own room, you know, like I had like mamitis when I was a kid, and so I was like, I want to leave my mom. But
my dad always says that. He's like, you're not sick, you just have mamitis. I'm just like
I had so much mamitis, and like it was very hard, and it was weird too because it was also I was seeing new ways how my body reacted to like change. I think like when I'm in a new environment, regardless, like I told you guys when I went to Europe this past September, I had a really hard time the first few days adjusting because I'm just like out of my comfort zone. But moving away from home, I was just like, it took me like, I don't think I was really comfortable until I met you guys. I know, I'm dead ass because like I didn't know how I was gonna make friends, and like as I moved at the beginning of September, so I could start getting adjusted and stuff. And like at the time, like I didn't know my roommate, and so I was like, oh my god, I want to be alone. But you know, it worked out. I met you guys. I got close with my roommate. I met a bunch of people that are great, but it was interesting because I think when I visited UCLA. It was like, I mean, it was my first time really like touring LA other than visiting a certain theme park. So my first time like really seeing like, cause I had gone to like Hollywood and stuff, but I hadn't gone to like West LA. I hadn't like driven through like WeHo or like Beverly Hills or all that stuff. And UCLA is very close to that area. And so it felt like a movie at first, and then it was jarring feel like I'm talking a lot, but
I mean, you are a guest.
I guess I'll just go on. Yeah, it was all a very interesting experience thinking back. Yeah.
I like the fact that you pointed out that, or maybe not, I don't know if it's gonna sound weird, but like that you didn't feel comfortable until you started making friends. And one of the ways that you did start making friends was joining a club or an organization on campus. So if anyone is about to go into college or, you know, seniors in high school or anything or freshmen, like my advice is always to join a club or an org or a couple.
Yeah, try a couple, see which one you vibe with the best. I tried like a handful of different orgs. I auditioned for the dance stuff. Obviously, I hadn't danced at the time in 2 years, so I didn't get into any of the dance orgs. But I got the vibes from the dance org, and I don't like it. I don't think I vibe with LA dancers. They kind of scare me. So
I think it's just like the competitiveness.
It's so
too,
competitive,
right?
and it's also very white dominated, and like it's jarring because all the artistic stuff that my major offered. I was in WAC, World Arts and Cultures. For those of you who don't know, it's connected to the dance major at UCLA, and it was weird because I only knew 3 Latinas in like dance, and no, that's a lie. I knew like 4 or 5, but for that first few like weeks I was at UCLA, like I met like 1 Colombian and 1 Peruvian who was a dancer, which was cool, but like it was weird because it was like such a creative like major, and it was so dominated by white people.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. If you guys are hearing dogs in the background, we're sorry. Did you guys hear dogs?
I heard the
I
dog.
did. I gaslight you guys. What dogs?
Sorry, that was my
That was my feet.
But anyways, I guess moving on with the conversation, I know that you are also a big advocate of mental health. I know that was something very big that you did also in community college.
Oh, you guys remember?
Yeah, of course. Is there, you said that there was a lot of feelings of anxiety or just like a lot of these feelings coming back up. Is there any way that, you know, I think you were teaching a lot of stuff about mental health. Is there anything that you learned in your time in community college that you applied when you were feeling this way, when you moved away from home?
Oh, that's a thinker.
And that's fine. You can think.
Yeah. Like,
permission to think.
I think like a lot of the things I learned in community college were, at least the things that I picked up on. Sorry. Oh no, this is not your leg. Sorry. It's the leg of the table. The things I picked up in community college were a lot more community based. So we learned more about, or at least I focused more on like outreaching to minority groups, just because it's so stigmatized in all minority groups. It's very universal. Yeah. I think most of the tactics I had to learn, actually that's a lot. Well, sorry, hold on. Let me gather my thoughts.
You're good.
I learned a lot of tactics in community college when I listened to my friends. So like, I think I talked about this in the other podcast we did at UCLA, where I've learned when someone is telling you like something confidential, something that's on their mind or their heart, I always like try to, I forgot it, but it's basically like you listen, you validate, and then you refer to them to a resource. Obviously, I mostly stick to listening and validating, because I mean, for me, that like I never realized how much it helps to be validated for what you feel. I think growing up, you can vouch for this too, but like it sucks when like, at least when I had so much anxiety as a kid. Like I remember my aunts being like, why are you so sad? Why are you so nervous about this? There's nothing to be nervous about. Or like,
it's very much like,
it's like there's nothing to be like, be grateful.
It's
like
the phone.
Yes.
It's your phone.
Yeah, my mom.
I always got like, you have a house, you have food.
Why
are you?
Oh my God. I remember my godmother, because I used to like really have a lot of trouble sleeping in my own bed. And like I would never sleep in my room, and it was to a point where like it was like I wasn't sleeping in my room until like I was like 12. And I remember my godmother being like, you have such a beautiful room. Why don't you like it? I don't understand what's so wrong with it. And I'm like, I literally, because I'm like, I don't know how to communicate this to you, you know? Like,
and it's just like, if you're confused, imagine how I'm feeling.
If I wanted to, if I could, I would. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's things like that. So, you know, knowing that, like, listening to someone and them telling, like, you're not crazy for feeling the way, I'm like, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned from community college, and just like I think listening and talking to people and talking to different groups. Referring can get hard because there's not enough resources for enough people to get referred to.
Yeah.
And finding the right therapist is like dating, and you have to like see if you match, and if you don't, it's frustrating and you feel like you wasted money, and there's not enough like accessible mental health resources, which is it's harder, and people are also stubborn and they have stigmas towards therapy too.
Yeah.
So
just like the trying to match with a therapist, dude, and like
I know,
because like me specifically, like trying to find somebody that understands the queer experience and like on top of that the queer Latino experience.
Oh my god.
Like I remember when I was trying to match up with a therapist, and like I'm just like talking, and then like something that makes complete sense to me, because you know it's just like the traumas and stuff of growing up in like a Latino Catholic household, and growing up queer, and then like her response, I forgot what it was, but it was so like she didn't get it. I was like, oh, like I was like, damn,
that's so frustrating.
Yeah, and like it was just like. It was such a weird place to be, and I was like, I'm crying in front of this stranger, and then she's just like, I don't understand like why you did that,
especially because like you go to this resource because you think it's gonna help, and then for it to be so jarring, it's like, first of all, it's like a huge step to be vulnerable with someone you don't really know, and then once you're vulnerable, and then they react weird.
They're just like, why'd you do that?
And it's like, I don't know. That's why I'm here. Like.
And you know, it was because it was a place that rhymes with Bizer.
You can put it together on your own. Yeah, I don't like Bizer, so
Bizer permanent.
Yeah, I also remember like in high school, I realized the feelings I feel to this day are very intense, and like when I feel something, I'm like, And when I was in high school, I would have a lot of relationship problems, and I was starting to go to therapy because I was just like, this is like, I'm not reacting well to things. I have a lot of like, I don't know why I'm reacting to things the way I do. Why am I so anxious? And I would like rant to this woman and be crying. I'm like, this relationship, and then she'd be like, okay, well, I'll see you next week. I'm like, what do I do? And like, it was very surface level. And I think that's what I also hate about some therapists, is that they don't help you go deeper and figure out, hey, like, why are you reacting this way? Let's think about that, you know, like, so.
That's interesting. And I think the point that you bring up about like being in a relationship and having that stuff like come out, I think a lot of the times, especially when it's like a young relationship, like with like teenagers or anything,
they don't take it seriously.
When yeah, exactly. Like you're like, oh, you're having relationship problems, you're like 15 or 16, but like I think that's a very common place for these feelings from your childhood or like anywhere to like be brought up again.
Responding to like a mature relationship that you might not even be ready for, you know?
So it's crazy.
Damn.
It's crazy that's very much invalidated by like society.
Take the kiddo seriously, guys, please.
I'm crying and snot is coming out about this. It's serious.
So yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what my therapist was writing in her note. She was just like, real.
I know. When my therapist, like, I'll say something, she's like, oh. And then she'll write it down. I'm like, wait.
You crack a little joke. She's like, like
and I'm like, stop.
All right. Well, that was a good conversation.
Sorry,
Definitely good. No, don't about.
I don't know why I say this is my I'm like, sorry.
It was good.
That was a good conversation to have.
Let me apologize so much.
But so continuing on with the conversation, you know, we talked about you coming to LA for school, and then how you know, kind of like that has a huge influence in your identity now. But, you know, as we touched upon earlier in the podcast, you also come from a Venezuelan and Chilean.
Oh, you're from the Bay? Oh, that too. No, but yes, I am.
Valid reaction.
Yeah.
Venezuelan and Chilean descent.
Yes.
And so Alan and I are Mexican American, and we just wanted to like talk about a little bit of what it was like, you know, visiting your parents' countries and like going back and like those experiences and, you know, how that showed up like in your childhood and how that like,
because it's like 2 countries.
yeah,
Yeah, I was going to 2 different cultures.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want me to like? I'll talk about how visiting the countries first. I think the first country I went to when I was a little baby, I went to Venezuela first. Obviously, I don't remember anything from that trip. I think I've only been to Venezuela 3 times in my life. I've only been 3 times. No. I remember more from the last time I went, even though I was like 9 years old. I think when I was 9 years old, I realized that it's a third world country.
I see.
It was really interesting because like the first few times I was like, la-di-da-di-da, I had my little baby.
Yeah.
Like I had my little toys. And then when I went to Venezuela when I was 9, I was like getting to more... I was very reliant on cable television. And like when I went to my grandma's house in Venezuela, I was like, there's no cable? How am I supposed to watch Phineas and Ferb?
You were a television kid, like the iPad kids?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was. No.
I think we all.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, no, because I think I was very, I don't know, it was interesting to like, that's when I realized I had travel anxiety too when I went to Venezuela the last time, because I was just like, oh my God, this place is like, I don't know. I think I was just like, that was the first time I had travel anxiety, and I was like, what? Whoa, like I've never like reacted like this. I've been to this place before, but I think it was the first time like I was like mentally conscious of it. I went when I was 3, and I have like tiny memories of that, and I remember the home videos, but
you ain't thinking about stuff.
No, I wasn't thinking about anything. And so I was...
Can we talk about like the economy, the economic state of the world?
My grandma when I got there. No, but
like, hey, abuela, can we talk on this?
No, but it was... But after like a few days, I was like, shit, this place is lit. Like, nice. I had a good time when we went to my grandma's sister's house at the time. She lived in a different... So my grandma lives in Caracas, the capital. And my grandma's sister lived in a city called Valencia. I think it was like 2 hours away, an hour. I don't know. It was farther away. But she had a bigger house. And like that's where everyone would gather. That's when all like the uncles could join together. The cousins joined together, and I was like, oh shit, like this is fun. And like we would always go to both Chile and Venezuela during the holidays. So like we'd spend Christmas there. We'd do Noche Buena, which was like, I love Christmas and like Latin America. It's so fun. Even New Year's was so good. But yeah, I had a good time last time in Venezuela. Obviously, for those who don't know, Venezuela has been in an economic crisis since 2012. And they are struggling a lot. And I haven't been able to go back to Venezuela because they don't allow U.S. citizens into Venezuela because the president is a dictator. But
they beefing.
They're beefing. Joe Biden and Nicolas Maduro. But I'd like to go. I thought about trying to get citizenship there, but who knows? That might be a pain in the ass because they know I was born here. So we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, I used to go to Chile every 2 years, and we'd go during the holidays too because Chile is on the other side of the hemisphere. So when it's winter here, it's summer down there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd spend like Christmas and we'd go into the beach and like doing all that
Is
stuff.
Venezuela not on the other side?
It's like right on the equator, so it's
I see,
tropical.
I see,
It's so tropical. It's hot all year round. I don't know. My grandma said it was getting cold the other day, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, we'd go during December to Chile, and I loved going to Chile because I have a cousin there who is a year older than me. So I'd always be like, like.
Cute.
But yeah, I miss going there. We haven't gone in a long time. The last time I was supposed to go, I was stupid and I didn't want to go because I was in high school and I was like, my friends.
May I ask where on the Chile?
Where am I? Where do I stay, or where my family's from?
Where on the Chile
We're on the
are the Milena's family?
We would stay in a city called Viña del Mar. That's where they have a music festival there. That's very popular in Latin America. I haven't gone. My mom used to go.
Your mom's a raver.
She was. No, but they have a really cool music festival there. But my mom was born in like not the sister city. I guess the city next door, Valparaíso.
I see you right here.
Yeah.
On the Google Maps.
On the Google Maps. But yeah, I loved Viña. I hated when we would like leave Viña and like go visit different parts of Chile because I was like, but it's so nice here. Like, I was like so bounded by comfort. And I think, anyway, that's a deeper thing. But yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that sounds very fun.
I want to take you guys.
I was literally just thinking that now.
Hey, can we go?
No.
When we have jobs.
I know I'm hella unemployed right now.
No, I'm going to be unemployed soon.
So moving on, again, kind of going on that South American train. Then I was sued, as some people may say.
By the Chilean band, Los Prisioneros.
They are really good.
Yeah. They're really good.
I love Spanish rock. But on the podcast, as you know, because you're our associate producer, we talk about...
I might know a thing or two.
We talk a lot about Latino representation in media, and we had a whole episode where we talked about it like growing up. And we would love to hear your perspectives on that. Like, where did you feel represented? And you can talk about like just seeing Latinos being represented, but then I think deeper seeing like Venezuelans or Chileans being represented. I know that there isn't a lot of representation. So like, I don't know what moments or what things you like really like grasped onto. I think like that's kind of where we want to go.
I think growing up in California, I think I've always tried to connect to Mexican culture just because that's all there is right now. I think I had a funny realization. So as you guys know, I went to Catholic school and I was one of like 4 Latinos in that class when I was started in kindergarten.
Damn.
And as the years went on, by the time I graduated 8th grade, it was me and this other girl who were the only Latinas, and she was Mexican.
Damn.
Yeah. And like, I think when I was little, I have a really cute video. I'll show you guys later. In 1st grade, I did like a presentation on like my countries, and my parents were like, you should do that. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what it meant. And so by the time I was in middle school, I was like, I'm Latina. Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I think it was just like, oh, well, I'm at home and I speak Spanish. And then I'm at school, I'm like blending in. And it was hard because I didn't blend in. I never blended in. I don't like anyone from my class in Catholic school. Sorry. Not sorry. Anyway. So it was hard to like ever think about representation growing up. And I think when it comes to media, I never saw any representation really. The only like media I think the media that I held on to as a kid, I'd watch Dora and things like that. But I don't know if you guys are PBS Kids connoisseurs. I was a diehard fan of Maya and Miguel.
Oh, it's Maya.
Dude, like for some reason, like that, I was like, that's me, you know? Like, even though like they're Mexican, I was just so like, they speak Spanish and their grandma's in the show and I see my grandma all the time. And it was so like, that was like very special to me. And I loved my Miguel. And then as I got older, I think when I was in 8th grade, I started being really loud about being Latina, like in a way that I was like, I'm Latina. And people are like, okay, like, we get it.
It's built up.
Yeah. And I think like I had accepted the fact that I was different and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't like connecting with any of the people in my class at Catholic school. And then I was just kind of like, well, fuck, I'm just Latina then. You guys don't understand. Like,
I didn't ask to be born Latina.
Nomás tuve suerte.
Yeah. And I think up until like I was in 8th grade, I think I like accepted Mexican culture as like I felt like related to it, even though I'm not Mexican. And because like there's only like Mexican restaurants in California. There's like obviously there's some like Venezuelan and Chilean restaurants, but like
some gems.
Yeah, like it's
needle in a haystack.
yeah. It's mostly like Mexican food everywhere you go. So I was like, okay, like, you know, they speak Spanish, I speak Spanish, like you know, I have similar words, you have similar words, like yeah. And then when I got to high school and I started making like Latino friends, then I was like, oh, I'm not Mexican. Because then I'd make friends and they would meet me and they're like, oh, you're Latina? I thought you were white. And I'm like, oh.
Interesting. So it's like going from being the most Latino person in the room to not feeling the most Latino.
Even though I'm like, and
that's like, such a journey to go through. Like literally the whole journey has like, it's wow.
Yeah. And it made me feel very like I didn't know how else to prove my Latinidad because like my friends in high school, they don't know my culture. Like I know their culture. And obviously I don't know Mexican culture the way a Mexican would, but like they don't know anything about South America. And you know, and then I had to start being like specific about my my countries. And that's why I feel like I'm so annoying. Like to this day, I'm like, yeah, I'm Chilean, but I don't let myself like dwell on that because I'm like there is not a lot of Chilean or Venezuelan representation. If not, I don't think there's any. Maybe briefly in a certain animated movie we watched a few weeks ago. But even that was also very vague because the movie focuses on Mexico and Brazil. So it's like things like that where like I feel so excited like when all these like new movies to like these days are coming out about different countries of Latin America, whether it's animated, whether it's musicals, whether it's like rom-coms or whatever. But it's still not me. And I still feel like a little bit empty and a little bit like sad because I think I've reached a point where I'm confident in my Latinidad. For a while I think like I also felt guilty for being white. Like I can't control that. Like I just came out that way. I don't know. I think like there's a sort of ignorance in how a Latino should look. And I think a lot of US mainstream media has said that Latinas have to have dark skin and dark hair and dark features. And like, I don't have dark skin. And then I realized I'm like, but my family looks completely like from everywhere. Like my grandma is dark, my grandpa is tall and like lighter skinned. My uncle's dark. I have uncles that are dark. My dad, sure, he probably has a lot of European like ancestry, but like it's even like when I've gone to Chile and Venezuela, like Venezuela and that like northern part of South America where Colombia and Ecuador and even in the Caribbean, like there are Latinos of all different races there. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And it's so weird because I've been told I look Arabic. I've been told I look Indian. I don't look. I was like,
I've been told I look Asian.
Yeah, like it's weird, and I'm like, it's such a. It can be very frustrating to feel like I'm, like, there's just so much work to do still.
Like there's just such a huge diversity within Latinos, especially I think like Afro Latinos too. Like a lot of times they don't get counted as Latino.
Oh,
We're just like, what?
Yeah. And I'm like, if like we're barely making progress with other Latin American countries, I can't imagine how much more progress needs to be made for Latinos of other races. You know, like we're barely scratching the surface, and it's so frustrating because like I'm always gonna be uplifting Latinos, and I'm here to say this message to all Latinos, because in the comments we've seen Latinos like pushing each other down, and that makes me so sad because like you have to be like, you have to I'm trying to set a good example, because I know Latinos, we have a lot of resentment towards each other. I think with the US, I think a lot of Latinos have resentment towards Mexicans, and because like that's all the US sees as Latinos, and like Latinos like, what about us? And then Mexicans also have their own resentment towards other Latinos, and like I can't imagine East Coast Latinos probably have resentment towards each other. I know the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans are always fighting. And so I'm like, if you're like, for me, like if we don't like lift each other up, they're never gonna get to us. You know, like I'm going to always applaud when there's films about Mexican culture, when there's films about Colombian culture, when there's films about all this stuff, because we have to keep celebrating this stuff. So, you know, that way, like, it sets a good example.
And it all just feels familiar.
Yeah.
Like no matter what country in Latin America it's from, it like all kind of feels familiar. Like you said, like you connected with a lot of the stuff in Maya and Miguel.
Yeah.
And I know that we've connected with stuff that isn't Mexican but still Latino. So I agree. That's a good message.
I think
let's just all get along.
Yeah. Let's just be nice to each other. We have shared generational trauma. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, thank you. That was also a very insightful conversation. So
thank you.
We're moving on to
the hand-me-down objects. So here at Hand-Me-Down Podcast, as if you don't know, but when we have a guest, we ask them to bring a hand-me-down, and it's just a fun little way to like get a little bit more of an inside scoop as to what the lore is on the hand-me-downs. So we have asked you to come prepared with a hand-me-down that you would like to share with the class, and just like explain, you know, who gave it to you, or like where did you get this from, what it means to you, and you know, give us the whole story, the whole background.
Let me just slide this puppy right out. My hand-me-down well, first of all, trigger warning, I'm an only child. So I don't have a lot of hand-me-down objects. I'm also like, I'm the only person in my generation. Like I said, I have a cousin in Chile, but like in the US, it's just me. So
it's coming off the anticipation.
Maybe I'm a little bit spoiled, but I'm humble. But my hand-me-down object is this ring. It's a ring with a heart on it. It's my mom's. My mom has a huge chest of jewelry that when I was little, I'd be like, I want to look through everything. Like, and like she had random, like, as we say in Chile, cachureos, which is like knickknacks. She had like a pearl, like a real pearl that she had in like, it's like an authentic pearl, so it came in a little bag. She had like old jewelry from when she grew up. She has a pair of earrings that I'm supposed to get handed down later on, I guess when I get married, which I'm like, well, why can't I have it now? But from my grandma. But this ring is from my mom. My mom got it when she was like 15 or 16, and it was a gift from my grandma's aunt. So I don't know if that's like her grunt, her grunt, yeah.
Your grandma did what?
Whoa. And she gave it to my mom because my mom used to go to Chile when she was like in her youth, when she was una lola, and she was very close to this aunt. Her name is Tia Rosa, and that is how I got my middle name. So yeah, that's the little inside scoop. I also just love like jewelry. I'd always see this when I was little in my mom's little jewelry chest, and I'd be like, can I get that? Like, when can I get that? So yeah, a lot of the jewelry I wear is handed down to me. Like this watch is my mom's, but it's not as a cool story about it. Like, I also just took it from her. She doesn't wear it, so, and it's also broken, but yeah.
Perfect.
Fine.
Yeah, I think we're reaching towards the end of the episode. And what do we do, Natalia, at the end of the episode?
Oh, well, let me tell you, Alice, at the end of the episode, we love to give a little shout out, a little Latino musical artist recommendation for our listeners to, you know, continue to support Latino artists. So as our guest today, we have asked you to also bring a Latino artist recommendation that you would like for the listeners to know.
My Latino artist of the week is Los Amigos Invisibles, which is a Venezuelan funk band. They do a lot of like funk disco type of music. I love it. It's so vibey. They are always on tour. They have been on tour for probably the last 20 years because my dad has seen them like 5 times. My dad put me on. It's very much papi music.
Shout out papi music.
Shout out to papi music. But I also had like an interesting... My dad plays Los Amigos Invisibles all the time. And sometimes like for the last like growing up, I never like paid attention to like specific like artists that my parents liked. And then like last year he played a song of theirs and I was like, this is really good.
This is really good.
I love Los Amigos Invisibles. I went to see them last April with my last roommate. And it is probably the most fun I've ever had at a concert because like their music is just like so like vibey and you can dance to it and it's like, and it's just happy music, you know, and it's very romantic too. Like some of the songs, I'm like, oh, like it's so nice. And yeah, I highly recommend them if you like funk and disco, and they're probably touring in a city near you. So yeah, they'll be at the Bésame Mucho Fest this December.
And at Dodgers?
At Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be one in Texas. I don't know if they're going there, but...
Yeah, if you're in Texas, you might see them there too.
Might be one of them. I don't know the lineup.
You know?
But anyways, I think with that,
yeah,
we're towards the end. Thank you, Milena, for joining us.
Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Of course.
All right.
It was a very insightful episode. I really found this episode very interesting.
It was nice.
Oh, thank you for having me. It went by so fast.
Is there any last message you want to give our fans?
Be nice to Latinos and think about the little guys in the South.
And I just realized we never did housekeeping.
Oop.
So before we end our episode, really quick.
All right.
I just rambled on for so long.
To give some housekeeping. If you guys are listening to us, well, first off, thank you guys for doing that. We really appreciate your support. If you're listening on a podcast platform, go ahead and make sure to give us a good rating and give us a little review. We would appreciate it a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It also helps push us in the algorithm. And yeah, if you are not following us on social media, go ahead and do that. It's not just good because you get to see all the clips. Again, if you miss an episode, you can go ahead and see the clips. We post the best ones there. But it's also good just to learn information about the podcast. For the past episode when we did the review for Real Women Have Curves, we want to go ahead and let our audience know that, hey, if you guys want to really enjoy it, go ahead and watch that first and you'll get more out of it. So it's kind of like little things like that, little announcements that you also get out of that social media page. So go ahead and follow us at Hand Me Down Pod on TikTok and on Instagram. So with that,
good. Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter? Okay, Harmony.
bye everybody.
Okay, bye. The Hand Me Me Down podcast is produced and hosted by Natalia Delgado and Alan Gallardo. This episode was edited by Alan Gallardo, and the social media clips are edited by Natalia Delgado. And I'm the associate producer, Milena Ortega. We'll see you next week.